All right, my friends, we continue our climb and rush here in Boss Rush for Hard Mode Stage 11, S Mangosteen Captain. Excited to break it down for you in today's episode. Thank you for tuning in, as always, and appreciate that support, the likes and the subs. Now, if you got a question or comment along the way, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. We're going to talk about some tips, tricks, and some tweaks that you can make along the way. And additionally, we'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server. So drop your comments down below or there and keep in the know. All right, here we go. Mangosteen Captain. This is our first one, stage 11 at hard mode, my friends. Make sure you're using your suppression levels, your supply chest, all that stuff. Makes a huge difference on your scores. Additionally, the other things that do matter here are these. So when we do look at our special conditions in this cookies, min biscuit levels 20, skill level and cookie level is 90. Everything else, but what does matter is those gear, right? The biscuits, the toppings, and the tarts make a huge difference. We'll talk a little bit about that one, well, in particularly for this. Now, a couple things when it comes to this particular boss here. We have the regular effect now, so we got two because we are in hard mode. The regular effect here, the boss becomes vulnerable to crit damage and receives increased electricity type damage. Perfect, because that's what electric is like. Lots of crit damage. Okay, rage effect, we have the target of the boss's attacks cannot heal, but the boss receives increased darkness type damage. So something else to think about there. Now, sometimes you can break this into two teams depending on how it works. You might want to do that in this one in particular. We will show one team in its ability to get by. All right, so a couple things here. What we found in the past is getting these additional pieces like this one right here, where we are able to really hammer in home on that electric type damage, plus get some of those big baddie bosses in from this particular piece. That's what happens when you get summons a giant electricity type Stormbringer right there for your entire team. Okay, so what we've done is in the past we ran this with dark cacao. We flipped that out, put Stormbringer in here to take advantage of the double Stormbringer just for this one in particular, because we need that crit really matters. Okay, now a couple things here that I have found particularly on our line. Don't forget, depending on what you can get here, I just need to stay above that 36 to get more promotions. Ascensions makes a big difference there. What I found though is if I filter here, remove all types, we got a range, we got a couple different cookies that we can try and pop in here. We're actually going to go with this one, move out Wind Archer. From that perspective, we get just a little bit more damage. Again, it's going to depend on your team and where you're at with your cookies and those things. We did try Pavlova as well as an example, so that is something that you can think about in terms of your particular team orientation. All right, again, the idea is here having two charge cookies, a ambush cookie, the range, and then the support in order to hit these three. Ultimately, what you're going to get is those three licorice servants. Here you're going to get a burning spice, and here you're going to get the giant Stormbringer cookie stacked with another Stormbringer. Lots of awesomeness that can ensue in that electric type damage. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about our gear here as well. So here we are on crit. We've got a lot of attack here. You can get more crit in there from that perspective. Here we're on attack, attack and attack speed. From that perspective, even better. We could go on cooldown if we wanted to. Here we're on attack, fire damage, lots of attack. Here we're on our attack speed. You could put some cooldown in here or survivability, because then you're getting this off more at those higher suppression limits, suspension limits. Here we're on attack. You could have this on crit as an example. Here we're on crit, absolutely need to be on crit. You can get more attack in there. And then last but not least, we got cooldown and lots of cooldown. Okay, so the big key for this particular team and how to tweak it is making sure you're on that crit damage, my friends. Makes the key aspect, and because it's a little bit of a randomness piece there, it can make or break some of the speeds at which you can knock this thing down. Okay, so let's go forward here. Again, questions, comments, let me know. We're going to do one team. Additionally, great time to like and subscribe. All right, here we go. Let's see how this team performs. Now, you could slow down. Instead of going on auto, you could save a little bit on when you want to drop Linzer there to get a better boost on the suspect. In terms of that, not suppression, all the other stuff I was saying. But as you can see, this thing can really juice through it. can really make a big difference there on some of those key aspects. And whew, not bad. It was so close. And tweaks there, 52%. We are going to have to run it one more time to get through. Now, like I said, this might be where you want to switch your team up, but you do have to be a little bit careful, because what can happen is if you don't make the transition real well, you're not going to be able to get through this piece quite as easily. Now, as you can see, this one does a little bit better on the mincemeat and cooks it much quicker for us here than that first one did. That's a nice victory there for our hard mode Mangosteen Captain, my friends. Super excited to take this one down here for you today on stage 11 of Boss Rush. Hooray. All right. So that is everything that we need to know to be successful here, to move on to stage 12 and take down stage 11 of Boss Rush. If you still got a question, if you got a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear from you as always. We'd love to see you in our amazing community Discord server. Like I said, a couple of those tweaks goes a long way. With that, my friends, thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we continue to grow such an amazing community, and thank you so much all the time to our members. I really do appreciate that as well. We got a lot of great ways to support. We got affiliate links, swag, and merch, and my socials. With that, we got more headed your way all the time. Until next time, my friends, keep on running.